Hey guys.
Hey guys. Look, somebody answered our wanted poster, and Denny has returned back.
The wanted poster, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to be back last week when we were going to start this beginner tooling.
But things happen, you know.
It was the call of the wild.
Call of the wild, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And it was fun.
Good. I'm glad that you had a good time. We've been kind of just sitting on videos. Kevin he missed you so much. He's like, I can't do leather trading cards without Denny. I miss him too much.
He didn't do them?
Well, so the real reason is we had a rock show across town. And since Liz was gone as well, he's like, I've got to go help them set up. So he set up for that all day on that Friday. And then you were missing last week. And I was like, you know what? We did think about that if we went through the videos, if I would have put the videos of the beginner tooling we have, maybe I can just do the tooling class watching the videos of you. But we were getting set up for the crazy days, which actually started today. Oh, the above camera is not on. That seems like a bummer. Seems like our table's probably in the wrong place, too.
You think?
Yeah, probably not going to be shooting what we needed to shoot. So the crazy day started today. If you remember, we did some hydro dipping, I think, that you missed out on.
I missed on it, yeah.
And I did not. The stuff's over at Liz's desk. I'll show you when we get done of the hydro dipping that we did. But we got some ostrich crust legs. I believe that they are $12 a piece on those. $10 a piece on the ostrich crust legs. They are really white and quite bright for this camera. So they are they're all labeled grade 4, but $12, $10. What did I say? $10. I can't remember that all. 63-84011, I believe, is the number on that. I can't remember how much it is, but
I love ostrich legs. I think they got the neatest looking patterns on them.
Yeah, these are real flat. Even usually on the legs, that center part will kind of have a groove there. Yeah,
it'll be stiff.
But you can dye these black, and these have some good malleability to them. Yeah. So that'd be a really good item to pick up. The drum-dyed veg shoulders that we did, we had black Havana and maybe a cognac. I don't remember what all the colors were. But they are like single shoulders, but some of them are a weird cut shoulder. Those are $12 a piece on these. I think we were selling them for $20 a piece. So $8 off on that for the crazy days. And then if you get some of that and you add on, we got some product that came in and has lots of misspellings on it. I'm not sure what I just got on that. Hopefully it was water. Leather balm, and this says leather protective, but the one that I grabbed said saddle soap. So I'm not really. Maybe the can I got to take a picture was wrong, because this one does say. Well, it doesn't say protective. It says protective.
It's a living language.
So a dollar add-on for there. Leather protective. So it's just like whenever I turn into a kid and I start talking like a kid. So maybe I need to open that up and get a picture of that and re-edit the picture and get protective instead of saddle soap, because evidently we do have saddle soap of it too. I don't know why we didn't add those onto the dollar add-on, but we also have saddle soap somewhere.
All right. Sounds wonderful.
That's all the crazy days. It's gonna be crazy, y'all. It's already crazy. All right. So today, Tony,
you are the guinea pig.
I don't feel much like a guinea pig.
You can be a little javelina. You don't have to be a pig.
Javelina. Didn't we have Alina? Didn't we have Javelina?
We had Alina that worked here once. Didn't we?
Yeah, she's a real sweet gal. She was. I thought we did have some Javelina. Oh no, that was that Cubracha or whatever. Not the Javelina. I'm curious what this looks like.
Yeah, was I sick?
Yeah, Isaac was left to the spelling. This smells interesting.
What is it?
I don't know. You give it a whiff.
It is very interesting. Protective.
Protective. It smells like a little bit of a lemon in there.
Yeah, it has a.
It's going to provide an impenetrable barrier against scuffs, abrasions, mold, mildew, and bacteria, which would mean that's probably why it has some lemon in it. Lemon essential oil would be
there's a
protected
little bit
against
of
bacteria.
Menthol to it also, it seemed like to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to get to it. We're going to do some
tooling. Novice tooling.
Yeah, Michael, it used to be buy two, get one free. And they were $20 a piece, so that means you were getting 3 for $40 since you got one for free. But now I think it's just $12 each, which would be $36. So saving $4, even more yet from there. I was going to print out some stuff so we had the progression of the novice thing, but we didn't.
Didn't have time.
I was fixing other things.
That's all right. I can read this even if you can't.
Yeah. Well, you start going.
Okay.
Tell me what I need to do.
We're doing the novice tooling class today, and we're going to start out with show them this is the first.
Oh, we're going to do number 1 in the series of 4.
4 different coasters. But I've got to tell you guys, the main thing on this novice class and the advanced class too is the use of the tools and what they will do and what you can do with them.
Yeah, currently I know that we're out of the V715 that goes in the novice or the Denny's beginner tooling set. So we're not able to make that. There is some.
You can substitute
for it. Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. And in this class, I have a list of
progression
that we go through. And number 1 would be to wet the leather, which I have already done for you.
And you also taped the back.
And I taped the back of it.
Yeah. Just to help from stretching?
Yeah, it'll keep it from stretching. It'll keep it from cupping quite so bad. It'll still want to, though.
You know what's going to be good about this?
There's 2 left-handers.
No.
We're both left-handed.
That will be true. It's like eating with another left-hander.
Yeah, I know. We can be here. We don't got to do anything crazy. We're just... Man, Amanda and I sat at the wrong seats at the table the other day, and we're like bumping. She's like, I didn't sit in the wrong spot. You sat down first. And I was like, well, that's a fair point.
Okay. Number 1, wet the leather and scribe the border. We'll use a pair of wing dividers, and we'll set it about the width of the border on this pattern.
Okay.
You don't have to be perfect, but come as close as you can.
That's not what I...
Set it a little bit wider instead of a little bit narrower.
Okay. I mean, I had it right on the line.
Well, that's okay. Okay, and then we'll take... And I just drag my wing dividers on the leather. I don't push.
So our long side goes...
Yeah, these wing dividers, one leg is a little bit longer than the other, and it will go on the outside of the leather.
So my long leg is going on the outside.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go all the way up to the edge at first.
Right. You don't want to cross your corners, so stop a little bit short rather than go a little bit long.
Okay.
And all you've got to do is make this deep enough that you can see it. It doesn't have to be a real deep border.
Is that what they say about the Rio Grande?
What's that?
It's not a real deep border?
It's not a real deep border. We were in Big Bend National Park a couple of years ago.
I'm glad that you got my reference there that we need to talk about vacation things.
Yeah. But it was right on the Rio Grande there, and you always hear about them swimming the Rio Grande to get into the United States. Mm-hmm. They could wade the Rio Grande to get into the United States. And a lot of times not even get very wet doing it.
All right.
Okay. Next step, number 2. We've done first step already is complete. And you did a fine job, Tony.
Is that
very fine?
Doesn't seem like that's on video. Is it? Okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to cut the border with a swivel knife.
The next step will be to cut the border with our swivel knife. But if you've never used a swivel knife before, I'm going to give you a few little pointers here.
Listen, Kaz, I will, if I can get through this, this is novice.
Okay. First off, any swivel knife you've got will do. I would suggest that you do not use an angled blade, though. Use a straight blade. You will have a lot.
I see you got a hologram blade.
Yes, yours.
And mine's not.
But that won't matter. All you're cutting with, when you're using a swivel knife, you're just using one corner of the blade.
Isn't this what experts do with it?
Yeah.
Okay,
what
perfect.
Experts do.
Yeah.
But anyway, to cut with a swivel knife, you want to hold it with the first knuckle is in the yoke. You don't want to hold it back like this. Mm-hmm. You want to get it back like this because this is your power. Is that first finger is your power.
Knuckle drive.
Yes. Okay. And your bottom two fingers, your fingers and your thumb are your steering wheel.
Okay.
You can twist them.
All right. How do I know that this is the right length?
You don't. And
okay.
But my rule of thumb is I like my knife to go the yoke at this first knuckle.
Okay.
And the blade about the heel of my hand, and that is just about right for you, Tony.
Just about perfect.
I'm a good.
It's not the first time I've heard that about myself.
Okay. You want to set your swivel knife into the leather, lean it forward.
Okay.
Not side to side, but forward.
Mm-hmm.
The straighter the line is, the more upright you can hold the knife. The more of a curve you're doing, the more forward you need to lean it. But in reality, you're just using the corner of the blade, the fourth corner, and you pull the knife towards you. You do not.
It is not a push beveler.
You can push the swivel knife, but that's for later. To start out with, you always want to pull your knife.
All right.
And I'm just going to pull it like that and make a nice bold cut. A lot of people say cut halfway through your leather, but that's beside the point. The point is you want to make a nice bold cut that kind of spreads your cut open because your swivel knife is sharpened on a bevel.
Mm-hmm.
And that bevel will actually spread the cut open as you cut.
I seem like I got a pretty good mirror finish going on on the end of my blade.
Yeah,
am I all stropped up?
You are stropped up.
That's good.
I guess we can go through stropping the blade.
We could.
It's got a bevel. You want to pull your knife towards yourself.
Still pulling
at approximately that angle, and you do not want to go like this.
That's going to round
pull straight.
Stop and lift. It's kind of like stop, drop, and roll, but you're going to stop and lift.
Yeah, and just
that's a good
every
shot.
stroke, just do the opposite side with every stroke.
We were showing off your new bracelets that you got.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that in Navajo country.
All right,
but you're already stropped up, so you ought to be okay.
All right, let's go have
The hardest thing to cut with a swivel knife is a straight line.
Oh, perfect. Let's start off with a straight line. If we're going to screw it up, we might as well do it early.
The first hint that I'm going to give you is watch where you're cutting. Don't ever try to see what you've already cut.
Yeah.
The minute you take your eyes off of that minute little area,
don't take your eyes off the prize.
Yeah, the minute you take it off, you will deviate and mess up your line. So just pull it towards yourself, make a nice bold cut. Stop a little bit short of your corner rather than going over.
This is the hardest thing. Oh, look at that. I tailed off. We might as well quit after this.
I think the reason that a straight line is the hardest to do is because you can see deviation in a straight line, whereas a curve it's hard to see a deviation. That's very good, Tony. Nice bold cut. Your cut spread apart, and that's exactly what you're going for.
All right.
All right. Next step. You want to set your, and I've already cut these patterns out. So, Tony, you're such a lucky guy.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But you want to set your pattern on there. I always use a dead weight to hold my pattern in place. That way I can draw a little bit and then lift it up. And when I put it back, I'll be in the right spot. But I'm going to use a ballpoint pen to trace my pattern, and I would suggest that you do the same. And there's a lot of heavy stuff on it. Okay.
Is there any certain place that you start?
I generally start with a flower. I do all my most prominent features first and then end up with all my fill-in stuff. But the flower is the most prominent feature, so that's what I'm going to start.
So I'm putting these. I'm just setting this where it kind of covers the whole picture. Is that what I'm?
Yeah, just center it as well as you can. Your leather and your pattern is never going to match exactly, so if you're thinking it will, I feel bad for you.
Right, well, I'll quit thinking that. That way you stop feeling bad for me.
But the reason I have you cut your border first is because when you're tracing this pattern and you get out towards that border, you can kind of feel that cut line and you'll know to stop there. That's the idea. This pattern, I don't know if you can see, I'll point to your pattern if you don't mind. See this little V right here?
Looks like an L right now to me.
Yeah. But anyway, that denotes your flower stem, which is an important part of this pattern. You want to make sure you get it drawn in there right.
Okay.
That one little line that crosses, a lot of people think that's a mistake.
This line right here?
Yeah, but it's not a mistake. You want to get that there. That's part of your flower stem. But after you've traced your flower and your flower stem, then you can just do all the rest of that fill-in stuff.
I need to trace my flower stem first?
Your flower and your flower stem.
All right, well, let me get that then.
Because those are really the only two prominent features you've got on this pattern. After you get those two, I want to show you something.
All right. Is this a line right here? Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct. Okay, let me show you something now. Okay. Now, when you start tracing like this line here, a lot of people will trace right to there and then go around.
I'm going to go all the way.
Yes, this line comes all the way around. That's just a little short line too.
Okay.
This line will come all the way around, and that'll be a short line too.
Okay.
He asked why not use a stylus.
Why not do what?
Use a stylus.
I mean, you can. The part of this is going to be we know what lines we've traced.
The reason I do it with a pen is because the ballpoint will actually roll on this paper, and the paper will actually, I've got the back of the paper taped, but it will actually be a little bit damp, and a stylus will want to bunch up and tear that paper more so than this ballpoint pen will. You can use a stylus. I'm not saying you can't, but I have a lot better luck with a ballpoint pen.
How much is the deep cut by swivel?
How much is it? How deep?
Much is the deep cut by swivel?
Well, my point is just go deep enough that you make a nice bold cut, that it opens up the two parts of the leather, each side of your cut. If you don't go deep enough, it'll look like you've just scratched the surface. If you go too deep, it takes a little practice. That's what we're doing here, is we're learning how to use these tools and what you can do with them. I wish I could say a definite 4/64 of an inch or whatever, but every piece of leather is going to be a little bit different. Every pattern is going to be a little bit different. But until you've tried it and made some cuts, made enough cuts, and beveled enough lines, you will never realize why you're cutting as deep as you cut, or why you cut too deep. You know, and when you're tracing these lines, if you don't get right on the money, don't worry about it too much. You want to come as close as you can.
It's already available for download if you go on YouTube.
All right, I've got mine traced. But you do. You've missed one line right in here somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I see it there. See right off this pattern.
And it doesn't have to be here. Just use this. Yeah, that's good. Right
Okay.
Everything looks real good. Okay.
At least it's on 11.
Next step. We've traced our pattern, which is step number 3. Number 4, we want to lightly set our flower center. By lightly, I mean don't just stomp the heck out of it, but make it deep enough where you can see it very well. Not like this. Looks good. Looks good. The reason you want to set it lightly is because we're going to set it again later on. If you set it too heavy the first time, it's going to be hard to get right on that same impression, and you'll leave lines. Okay. Now we're ready to cut that pattern with our swivel knife. When you cut your pattern, do it in the same order that you drew it, which means start with the flower, then the flower stem, and then you can do all the fill in.
All right.
Doesn't matter if you start at the tip of the flower petal or at the center.
Where'd you start that one at?
I started at the tip, but there might be one here that I start at the center. We'll see. Matter of preference. There again, don't overcut. Stop a little bit short rather than cut into another feature that you wish you wouldn't have cut into. Talk a little bit about the flow of this pattern.
You might be able to talk about it.
If you will notice, if you will look at, can we?
You want the overhead?
Yeah.
Right here.
The center of this flower is where every line, if you followed through with this cut, it would go right towards the center of this flower. If I followed through, I haven't cut this one yet, but if I followed through with this cut, it would head right towards the center of that flower. So keep that in mind when you're doing something. If you don't follow the flow of the pattern, it will never look that symmetrical. All right, I've done the flower. Now I'm going to cut my stem. Another thing, might be a little bit too much for everyone to swallow right now, but when you're, let me see here. All right. This, like if I was cutting this line right here, which I'm going to, it ends up out in the middle of nowhere. It just stops there, right? That's not how I want to cut it. I want to start here, but when I get about here, I'm going to start to lighten up and just fade this out into a hairline. This one is a 3/8. It's a 3/8 straight blade. That's what I like. You can use a 1/4 inch. It really doesn't matter. But a 3/8 is a good all-around size blade for me. That's what I use on everything I do. But after you've got your flower and your stem cut, then you can just go to town and cut everything else. Just remember those lines that end up out in the middle of nowhere, fade those out. Tony, I did the same thing you did. I forgot a line here.
I wasn't going to tell you about it. That way mine would look better. But you've discovered it.
Moisture content is another thing we need to talk about. You don't ever want to get your leather too wet. You're better off being a little bit dry as a little bit too wet. Because if you get your leather too wet, it gets real mushy and soft. It just doesn't look well.
I'll say over the last year, watching how wet.
Yeah. It's the number one question. It's the number one thing that the only way you're going to know is to keep doing it and discover.
That's going to be my next question. That you do, I'll tell you, but it's just
basically, I don't want to get it too wet to begin with, and to cut and tool, you want it to be starting to change back to its original color. Doing, Tony?
I'm still alive. Just being quiet. For once in my life.
Oh, maybe we ought to have you tool more.
years they wonder what injury and figured it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could have told him that.
Now mine's on the verge of getting a little bit too dry.
Mine probably is then too. But let's just keep on swivel cutting.
Yeah, yours is plenty wet enough to cut.
All right.
And especially when I bevel, I definitely don't want it too wet. Because that's when most people overwet their leather, because they're trying to get that nice deep impression, and they get it so wet that they just make it turn to slop.
That line goes for a long way.
Yeah, that's the line that goes all the way around there.
Almost there. Only about 7 or 8 more lines.
You're doing well.
I appreciate that. Hopefully it'll show that in a little bit.
The main thing is don't be afraid to make your cuts. If you are tentative about it, the lines are going to look tentative and they're going to be herky-jerky and all kinds of stuff.
So do you lift your blade out every now and then on your straight line so you can turn your leather, or do you... Otherwise,
the trick to that, like this line right here, goes all the way around. All right, so I would end up like this, right? So I want to contort myself when I start rather than when I finish. So I'm going to go like this and cut all the way around.
I didn't realize I needed to be a contortionist.
You do.
Okay.
You do.
Next on SLC Live.
Yeah. But plan each cut as you make it. Look where it starts and where it ends, and that way you'll know how to position yourself. Every once in a while, I'll turn my leather as I'm making a cut, but very seldom.
Well, then I guess I'll stop doing that.
You're better off just leaving the leather on the table, and then turn it before you start another cut.
Is this a line, or is it just me
You
wandering around? Is that a line?
Oh,
that's a line.
This is a line, Tony. This right here. This little line right here.
Okay, there we have it.
Looks very good. Let's see what you got. That looks really good.
It could have looked worse.
Could have looked worse.
That's for sure.
Could have looked worse. But the idea, the thing is, you're doing this to see what your knife will do and how to use your knife, and you're doing a fine job of it.
I think I could have gone a little bit deeper.
Yeah, you could have. You could have. And okay, if you want to critique things, let's go right here. Remember what I was talking about, the center of your flower? Mm-hmm. If you followed through with this cut, it would come out here, right? Followed through with this cut, it would go over here. This cut is perfect. Goes right to the center of the flower. This one, you miss the center. But those, I'm kind of nitpicking here.
What a jerk.
But I mean, that's what you want to strive for. To make
for sure.
To make everything flow right in your pattern. And all of your chicken necks or your stickers on the outside, they want to go, that vine keeps going around this circle. And you want to keep it where it goes towards the center of that vine, going around that circle. And the vine is a lot easier than the flower.
Next step.
Oh, next step. I forgot to bring a stylus, so we're going to use our wing dividers. I want you to mark each of your background areas. Just put a dot in them.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Just put a dot in it. I got to find... Am I turned right?
Well, yeah.
Looks like it to me.
This is the way you've got it facing right now. Your background areas are like here.
Oh, I see.
Hold on. Now you find the outside.
Let me spin this.
The reason I'm having you do that is because when you start beveling, you're going to say, which side of this line do I bevel on? And I'm going to tell you that
you should have marked your background.
All of your background areas have to bevel down. They all have to be beveled. That's another thing a lot of people have trouble figuring out is their beveler. But the bevel is the angle part of this tool.
Is this?
Yeah, that is. You got it.
All right.
You got it. But when if you can focus over here, I'm going to show you something.
Yeah, let's do without your hand in the way.
Right there. Okay. If we're gonna bevel this border line, which is the first thing we'll bevel is our border, you're gonna say, which side of the line do I bevel on? There's a piece of background right there. So this whole line has to bevel on that side. I'll bevel just a little bit of it here so you can see what I'm saying. This is the first time I've picked up a maul in a month, so you guys bear with me. But this line all the way, once you start a line, it has to bevel on the same side all the way through. But this is your beveled side right here. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So if you're going to bevel, you're going to bevel this line right here.
Bevel towards my background.
Yeah, it has to bevel like that. The background has to bevel down. You're going to bevel this line, has to bevel down all the way around. These flower petals, same way. But anyway, first place we bevel is our background, or our border. So start with that.
Okay.
Bevel that border all the way around. When you start beveling, ideally you want to bevel about as deep as you cut.
Am I dry here?
Nope, you're good. Because I like it to be on the verge of being too dry when I bevel. You get a lot better result. When it gets too mushy, your beveler wants to follow a different line than what you're wanting it to. Most people, when they start out, they'll be going like this. And then move their beveler and go like that. And that's fine. Ideally, in the end, you want to learn how to walk your beveler along the line. But first things first.
Do I need to hit that harder, or is it looking all right?
It looks good. You want to leave a nice dark burnish, which is what you've got there, which means the part that you're actually striking with your tool needs to turn a darker color than the rest of your leather. That's called a burnish. If your leather quits burnishing, either you aren't putting enough pressure on your tool, or you're too dry or too wet. If you're too wet, it won't burnish. Just another thing, you want to hold this tool straight up and down. Not forward or backwards or side to side. Straight up and down. If you tip your tool, you'll be leaving little track marks everywhere you go. Alright, I've got my border beveled. Now I'm going to start in on my flower. There again, I'm going to start with the flower, then the stem, and then all my fill-in stuff. Every tool that you use them try to use them in the same order. That way you can keep track of what you're doing.
What do you think, Will?
Looking good. Looking good. You've already got the tool walked down.
I've walked a few times in my life. Just never with a tool in my hand. So since you haven't tooled in a month, had them all in your hand, is it like riding a bike?
The guy said about the mule, when the lady said she'd never ridden a mule before, he said, "Can you ride a bike?" And she said, "Sure." And he said, well, this ain't nothing like that. Yeah, it's kind of like riding a bike. It takes a while to kind of get your mojo going.
You guys have any riding
No,
this time around?
no. You know, we were going to go to the Grand Canyon and maybe take the mule ride down. But that's, if you actually ride a mule to the bottom of the canyon, you've got to stay all night down there in one of their facilities. You know, and then the next day come back up. So that's 2 days plus however much money. And we're poor people. You know, we didn't want to spend.
You only make about $4 an hour,
yeah,
I heard.
Yeah, I've been bucking for a raise, but.
Somebody comment video I can have that nonsense on me too.
All right, so now I do my pedals after this.
Yeah, do your flower petals. That's what I'm doing right now.
Are you starting at the tip and then working your way back to?
It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
That wasn't what I asked. So
yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Starting at the tip and moving.
To be misleading. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I felt misled. Already my lines aren't going to the center, and you blame my tooling instead of the pattern you drew. And I'm gonna bevel away from the pedal center. Or from the pedal.
Bevel on the background side of the line.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes I got this little crook that's in there, but my beveler is real straight.
What's that?
Well, like, I got this little curve that's there.
That's all right. Start there and just kind of ease your way around. You know, and that's, you know, you will figure out how to do stuff like that, but you can only figure it out with practice.
Yeah, right now I got you here to ask questions too, so I'm going to utilize that.
Beveling those lines that I had you feather out to a hairline. That's the way you want to bevel them too. You get down there, hit it lighter, like I'm doing right now.
This line has kind of an off-subject question. If you have leather that is dried out to the point of cracking, can you oil it enough to use on something that needs a fold over?
Probably not.
You
can get it. Your best bet is to try to get it wet enough to fold over.
Michael Seeger did have another question. Is there something you can put on leather after it's kind of molded? This was on YouTube a while back. Speaking of mold, how does one remove mold from a belt? Oxalic acid?
Oxalic acid, yeah. Or a lot of people swear by lemon juice. I know that's what Ed LeBar likes, lemon juice. I've always used oxalic acid. A lot of people might feel it's a little bit environmentally unkosher, but that's what I use. I've got to warn you, if you're going to use oxalic acid, don't do it on something you're getting ready to tool. Wait till after it's tooled, because it will change the character. trying to learn how to walk your beveler, use your maul to kind of just drive the beveler in the direction that you want to go. A lot of people will want to tip their tool to make it go in a direction. Like I said, if you tip it, it's going to leave little track marks everywhere you go.
That pedal looks like crap.
Actually, it doesn't look like you've been tooling for 40 years, but it doesn't look bad. It does not look bad.
All right, now I need to move on to the.
Yeah, do your stem next.
That's all the way around to this part. So I'm going to be like so.
Yeah. If you're beveling the line and can't figure out which side to, if it has just a 1/16 of an inch of background on it, that's the side that line has to bevel on.
Starting to wander everywhere, Denny.
Wandering. You might want to wet it a little bit.
Okay.
After you wet it, though, when you first start to bevel, you have to be very careful because your leather's going to be really soft.
Well, I'll just sit here and wait for a while.
You can.
Okay.
Watch me.
Oh, I was looking at the comments.
Okay, that'd be good too.
Because I ran out of coffee.
I've got a feeling we're going to be here Friday finishing this up.
Well, so when I do this little part here, do I need to do this first and then that?
Yeah, but you had your beveler facing the wrong direction.
Well, I mean, this should be like
Yes,
that.
do that one first.
And then.
Yes.
Does it matter to bevel towards you or away from you?
Learn to bevel in both directions. Because there'll be some lines that you can't bevel the way you want to. Everybody has a strong side and a weak side. So if you're wanting to practice something, if you're wanting to practice something, practice your weak side.
What if all my sides are weak?
Practice all of them. Yes, keep trying, Tommy.
Did he use for a seat beveler? If so, why?
Yes, I use a steep beveler predominantly all the time. Not necessarily 100%. I mean, there's always an exception to the rule. But a steep beveler, you can bevel a lot of lines that are very close together without laying the one behind it, without stamping it back down. And plus, it leaves a little sharper impression, I believe.
And is this one of your toughest students? So someone asked,
Say what?
is this one of your toughest students? Tony being,
Am I a hard student?
No, you're just smart, Alec.
now, if he wanted a tough student, he would do me and Isaac. Me and Isaac instead.
But does it really matter which one I go to after I do?
No. If it was me, which is not, I would bevel this line, then I would bevel this line, then I would just go from.
Just keep going after that.
All right, Isaac. Larry Schmidt is watching this from his deer stand.
Yeah.
I wish the deer were running better for you.
Yes. Yeah, even blacked up Minnesota.
Yes. It's colder there than it is here. So it's 70 degrees in November.
It's still just annoying. It's like one.
I was thinking when we were out west that it was going to be a lot colder than it was here. But it wasn't. Every time we had someone told us that the temperature out here when we talked to someone on the phone.
We had that
yeah, you had one little cold snap.
It was.
But it was, we had about the same thing out there. There was one night in one spot it got down to 17 degrees, which was pretty chilly. But the rest of the time, most of the time, it didn't even freeze at night. Yeah, but that's
still cold.
Yeah, cold is cold.
Yeah.
Hot is hot.
It's been real slow.
During the day, it would always warm up really nice. We never ran into one bad spot of weather.
Boy. Whose idea was this anyway?
I believe it was yours.
No, I don't believe it was mine. I think it was Liz. What about this little line here?
You bevel it.
Oh,
Oh,
I see. I see my background mark up.
Practice playing your kazoo?
On my kazoo?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I left my kazoo here. I probably should have taken it and serenaded my wife.
Well,
that's looking good, Tony.
Could look a lot worse.
You're daggum right. Everybody
I'm not gonna say
everybody
it looks good.
says, man, that looks bad. I say, hey, I've seen bad.
Chalk it up to a learning experience.
That's right. And that's exactly what this is. People, they say, oh, well, I'm almost embarrassed to show you this. I'm not very good at this. And I keep saying, if you were good at it, you wouldn't be taking this class.
Yeah.
Sorry and thank you.
I just heard Justin go back to the computer after he walked to the cameras and he goes, oh, shh. So I looked at what he was shooting and realized that your bag's in the wrong spot.
All right, I'm beveled.
Oh, do you need more?
Do I need to bevel more?
Yeah, do you need to bevel more? I got some for you to bevel.
No, but I'll tell you what. it's about time for us to wrap this up.
Oh, good.
And if you want, you can finish beveling off camera.
That might be better.
And then Friday, we can go from that.
We'll move on to what?
You will be doing your background next.
We'll move on to step number 8 of 15.
And then Friday, I think we can finish this up pretty easily. And you can probably even start on another one.
Oh, start on another one. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Liz will be back on Monday.
Yeah.
I believe that also Monday is my birthday.
Is it really?
Yep.
You were born and not hatched?
Yep.
I'm amazed.
Yeah, there is some mammals that do
I won't
hatch
be
from
here,
eggs.
but happy birthday on Monday.
You should come in anyway. Liz will be here on Monday.
Okay.
We'll do... What are we going to do next week?
I don't know.
We better make it Friday first. Things are getting crazy here. Well...
Do what Friday?
Finish this this up and start another one.
Yeah, we'll do whatever we have time for.
Oh, good. We don't have time for much. We've already wasted an hour doing this. Well, that's a beginner tooling.
Yeah.
Part 1, making it through swivel knife, cutting, and some beveling on my part, and all beveling on Denny's part. We'll background on Friday, and he says we'll finish it up and maybe start another project. But I think I can go slow enough to where we just finish this one.
All right.
You got any parting words, Denny?
No, I'm glad to be back, I think.
I'll let you know later whether I still feel good to be back or not.
The day is young.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're going to head over to Twitch for a little while. I'll probably bevel a little while longer on there. We'll talk about Denny's vacation on the Twitch after party. So if you want to listen to Denny talk for just a little bit, you got time to talk for just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
All right, Mary June hasn't been calling yet, but she will in just a little bit.
She will. Our refrigerator messed up.
It's not running. It's
Right
just
now.
in place.
Yeah.
So have a good rest of this day. No live shopping tomorrow. Check out the Crazy Days sale. It's at the top of the page on the home page or any of the place where you get the menu. It'll say Crazy Days 2023. You can click on that. Get signed up for the giveaway. We're giving away an embossed belt roller with a set of the Sergey rollers and some Herman Oak belt strips. So all you got to do is make sure you're signed up for the 23 Crazy Days newsletter, and that's it. That's what gets you entered for it. Those will come out every day. The one today should come out later today. I don't know what happened there, but things happen.
Things do.
Adios.
Bye.